Welcome everyone to another video. Today I'm going to talk about all the LMMS shortcuts that you'll need to know if you want to speed up your work efficiency. I'm going to start with the basic ones that you should know. Starting with the first one is F5 to F11. F5 opens the song editor. As you can see here, you use this most of your time, is where your whole song is going to be located. And then you have F6, which is the beat and bass line, which is just a separate editor for your patterns that you put in there. Then you have F7. F7 is for the piano roll. You can also access this by double clicking any clip. Next up is F8. F8 is automation, which you can also access by creating an automation track, creating an automation clip and double clicking that, and then you'll get the same thing. Next up is F9, which is the effects mixer. Here you'll create your different mixer channels that you can route instruments into, and you can add effects into these separate mixers to group your instruments together. Next up is the project notes, which is pretty useless unless you want to put down some ideas down, but I've never used project notes anyway, so you won't need that one. Next up we got F11 for controller rack. Here is the list of all the controllers you have. Here I have my peak controller for my sidechain, which is connected to these two synths right here, but this is one of those things that you won't be using a lot as well. Next up, more shortcuts. This time it's gonna be the ones that help you save your project and open projects and export projects and all that. We're gonna start with Control N, which creates a new project. Just wait for it to load. It will open a new project and it'll look exactly like this unless you have a template. Now Control O for open a project. Now here you can access all your previous projects, and if you want to launch any of them, you can just double click and then they'll come up. You can just double click on them and then it will load into LMMS and you can edit the song. Next one is a common one, Control S for save project. Here you can type your name and press save, and you know, here are all your projects right here. If you already saved the project before under a name, but you want to change that name, you can do Control-Shift-S and then it will be save as. So you can type a new name here and press save. Press Control-E for export. Now you can choose where you want to export it to. You can choose your desktop, which is where I put all my stuff basically. And then here you can change your name and then you can press save and then it will export. If you're in the middle of a song and you accidentally delete your clip and then you don't have that clip anymore and you're really sad, you can press Ctrl Z for undo, and then you can Ctrl Y for redo. So Ctrl Z for undo, Ctrl Y for redo. Now when your track's too full and you can't access your instruments below the window, you can just scroll down. Scroll down, scroll up, like you would scroll in a web browser. So I've talked about this in my automation video, but if you want to automate a control, you just create an automation track, make a clip, and then control, click, drag a knob into it, and then you get a graph. And then here you can just do your little automation thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out my automation tutorial on my beginner's guide and you'll know exactly what to do. If your cursor is stuck in the middle and you want to quickly put it back to the beginning, just press home and it'll go back to the beginning. If you want to move your cursor, drag the top around the timeline, drag it along the timeline, and you can go anywhere you want. Or you can just click the part that you want to play and it'll go to that spot. If you want to move your loop points and you don't know how to do that, you can do it by pressing right click to control the end of the loop and use middle mouse button to control the start of the loop. If you want to be more precise, you can press Control middle click and Control right click if you want to get it between the bars somehow. You know, like there, like, I don't know why you would do that, but okay, you put it like there, maybe like between these two bars or something. So I made 3 beat and bassline tracks. You do that by going here and pressing add beat and bassline. If you want to scroll through your different beat and bass lines, you do that by pressing your plus and minus keys, and that'll scroll through your different beat and bass lines you have. You can also scroll through it by left clicking for going up and right clicking to come back down. Onto the piano roll, press F7. Now we don't have a pattern yet because we need to double click on something. Alright, we've opened up the chords pattern and we have the chords right here. Scroll up and down to scroll up and down. Shift, scroll up and down to go left and right. Control scroll to zoom in and out. Now, if you want to select some notes, you can do that by pressing Control, holding down Control, and then drag. You can copy specific notes by selecting, by controlling drag, and then you can do Shift, and then drag across. You can also do that by pressing Control C, going into the timeline and put the marker on the timeline where you want it to be, and then press Control V to paste it right after this line. You can also press Ctrl X for cut, and then you can Ctrl V to paste it here. If you want to select everything, just press Ctrl A for all, and then you can Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then you have another set of notes right here that you just copy. If you want to delete notes, just right click on them, or if you're some random dude, then just select it and press delete. But who would do that when you can just right click? You can move notes around by dragging them, obviously. But let's say you want to move the note without sticking to the grid. You can do that by holding down Alt and then dragging the note. If you want to select notes that are like here and then here, you can do that by doing Control Shift and then hold down Control Shift and then select the other note, and you select two notes that are far from each other without selecting anything in the middle. You can also scroll with arrow keys, up, down, right, left. If let's say you want to move the selected notes up an octave, just do Control up arrow or Control down arrow to come back down. If you want to move them up by one semitone, just do Shift up, Shift down. Same with Shift right, left, and Control right and left. Back to the song editor. If you want to go to your clip settings, just right click on them. Then you can go delete, you can cut, copy, paste, mute, clear all notes, reset name, change name. You can change names. I'll show you. Change the name to hello, and then you see it says hello right there, and reset name to delete the name. If you want to delete a clip, you just middle click on it. Very fast deleting. If you want to copy a clip, hold down Control and then drag into anywhere you want. Control and then drag, just like that. If you're again one of those people who don't want to stick to the grid somehow, you can click on it and then press Control after you've held down the mouse. And you can move it around smoothly to any specific point you want it to be. If you struggle to see what you have in your clip, you can Shift, hold down left click, and then you can expand the clip like this, and then you can see the notes right there, and Shift drag to, you know, close it back in. You can do it for any track. You just have to be in that track's grid. You can move your cursor using the left and right arrows. If you want to mute something but you don't want to delete it, just do Control middle mouse click and then you'll mute it. And then if you want it back, just Control middle click again. And yeah, that's all the shortcuts, and hopefully you remember them. If you don't, just go over the video again. And these shortcuts would definitely make your life easier when making music. You won't be going around trying to find buttons. You'll be just pressing shortcuts like a master, like a producer. Anyways, I hope you've learned something. If you did, definitely drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more music and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.